All right, guys, I wanted to show you how to use some of the functions within the All-in Learning portal. So this is your home page. This is what it should look like once you guys have logged in. Over here to the left of the screen is going to be the tabs that we're going to access here. So what I want to show you, first of all, is how to get to your assessments. So here you would click on the tab that says Lessons and Assessments. Go to My Assessments. So from the My Assessments page or window, you will actually see any of the lessons or assessments that you as the teacher create, or any of those assessments that may or may not have been distributed to you from another teacher, from another PLC group, from admin, so on and so forth. So for instance, whenever you guys start TELPAS testing, which would be on Monday for the writing portion, Ms. Vaughn and Ms. Welsh are actually going to push out and distribute those writing prompts per content area to you guys. So I just want to show you how, if you actually had to set it up yourself, you would go about doing so. So as y'all can see, I've done a couple of the writing prompts as practice, but I'm going to walk you through it. Okay. We're going to click on Create New. And from this window, it gives you a list of options as far as assessments are concerned. You can actually choose to just do an assessment key, which basically allows you to only put in the answer key. If you're already using, say, like a document, you're going to present it up on the screen, so on and so forth. That'll be for another video, so I'll come back to that. For this particular training, we're going to import from a PowerPoint or Word document. So we click this. And then this window comes up. I'm going to browse. And from my already saved resources, so here I'm just going to type in TELPAS. I'm going to use one of the writing prompts that I've used in the past when I was in the classroom for biology. So here you guys will get this little message that says importing a Word document. It has to be formatted before they can be imported. You do not have to do anything with that. I'll show you what they mean by that in regard to making sure your document is marked as a question so that students see it as something they need to respond to in their student portal. So from here, you're going to type out your title. You're going to do TELPAS Practice 151 because that's what it feels like at this point. We're going to choose the grade. It doesn't really matter what grade you choose, but it will come up in your assessment properties. So we're just going to say 9th grade for this one. This is for writing, so we'll choose writing. And for the description, I'll just put here. And you can actually describe it, your assessment as whatever you see fit. Tags aren't necessary. It's kind of like a hashtag deal. So if you want to put science, if you want to put TELPAS, if you want to put writing, language arts, that's cool too. It's not required. You would then click next. And it will take you to this window, which is where you are going to edit your actual document. So here it just talks about, once again, how importing a Word document, it might require some formatting. You're going to actually have to create it or select it as a question pretty much. Let's close that. So here you see your assessment key. There is no key because we haven't created any questions for this particular assessment. So here, this side of the screen will show you slides. And so even though I've uploaded a Word document, it's still going to say it is a slide because when students actually view your lessons or your assessments, it comes up in slide form. So we're going to edit it from here. So as you can see, this is one of the prompts. To the right where it says question properties, this is the big ticket here. So you're going to convert this slide to a question so that the system recognizes it for students to answer as a question. For TELPAS purposes, we are going to choose the type of question as student work and with a simple slider. It's easier to choose it as a simple slider than a rubric because we don't have to upload anything differently. You can actually just change the values here. So for instance, I'm going to choose 4 just simply if maybe I was actually going to rate my students' TELPAS writing here, the 1 would be for beginner, 2 would be for intermediate, 3 advanced, and 4 advanced high. However, we're still going to do the rating and verifying the old-fashioned way by printing out our student responses and having them in the files, going through that process with the ESL department. So I just wanted to show you this just for future reference. So here, you can also choose to show advanced options. If it was a multiple choice question, this gives you that option to change up how the multiple choice answers or responses are actually shown to students. But here, we're not going to worry about it. We're going to click Save. So if you look back to the right, now you see that for the correct answer, because I chose a rubric with a slider, I can do my point values here, or I can go back and click Edit Question and I can edit it from there. Even here, you can attach a standard. So if I click Add Standard, it gives you the TEKS. So since I've used this as my default document before, because I've used All in Learning in the biology classroom, I made the biology TEKS, the recent biology TEKS, my default document. So as you can see here, I can actually choose to turn this one off and choose a different set of standards to actually access. So I'm just going to click Cancel because we don't need that for here. I want to show you a little bit more about the formatting part here. So because I uploaded a Word document that had multiple pages or multiple things on it, the system doesn't necessarily recognize that. So we need to go back and make sure it's the right format for students before we send it off. So here you can see I have both writing prompts and it's just a mess. So I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to click Delete Slide because they don't need it. And this is a second writing prompt. So I'm also going to convert this slide to a question. I'm going to use the student work with a simple slider. And I'm just going to change it to 4. Once again, that's not necessary, but you can. All right, so now I have my 2 questions, but what we need to do is we also need to add a new slide so that we can actually give instructions for students. So they're going to see the instruction slide first. So it doesn't matter what type or layout of the slide. I usually just click Content so that I can type in my instructions. And so you can even include a word bank for your kids for TELPAS here. But we also need to be very explicit, guys, about making sure we tell students to type their name, their student ID number, and the day's date on their TELPAS writing samples, because that's part of the state's requirements when it comes to submitting these samples. Remember, from your TELPAS training, from your rating or verifier training, they have to have all of those components in order for that particular sample to be good to go to be added to that student's portfolio. So even here, just be sure that you're writing like what it needs to look like, maybe give them an exemplar, so on and so forth. So with that being done here, you see how the instructions, whenever I added this slide, it went in the middle of the questions. Just move that on up so that it changes the placement of the slide. So now the instructions are first. So always be mindful, guys, whenever you guys are creating assessments, that you have them in the right order here, however you see fit. Okay, so let's go back to lessons and assessments. As you can see here, it saves automatically, kind of like it was its own Google Doc. Once this comes up, here is the sample or practice one that we created. Now, to get students to actually get to the assessment, this is where you go in and click Activate. We're going to post it to the student portal. That way, when students log in to All in Learning from the student login page, and your list of classes will be here. So very similar to Eduphoria online testing, guys, you will have to click Start on whatever sections, course sections, content sections, you would like to make this assessment available. So click Start. And then you're going to get another window that will pop up that's going to ask you about setting the parameters for the test. Okay. Now with your TELPAS writing prompts, this should already be completed, because when Ms. Vine and Ms. Welsh push these out to you, they're going to already set the assessment settings, so that all you have to do is click Activate and push it out to your kids. So if you're creating this yourself, the one thing that you need to make sure has yes on it is for security settings. So if you click yes, This will enable the lockdown browser for your students. So if they go to another tab, if they open up another window, it automatically forces the students out of your assessment so that you as a teacher, while you guys are actively monitoring, and you'll see it on the next screen, you're able to actually see if that kid was kicked out, and you can decide whether or not you will allow that student to come back in to continue the assessment, or you're going to force submit it yourself. So they're all some other choices here. I'll let you guys play around in your portal later. So next, and then here it gives you like a rundown. You can go and check to make sure you have everything correct, and then you can change those options, or you can choose to activate or deactivate. So in this setting, we're going to go to activate, and this brings up your list of students. Now, you guys, I'm not going to be able to show you what it looks like while there's an active assessment because, clearly these students are not actively taking this test. And clearly they're no longer my students, but they're still coded to me from my old bio classes. So if you were to click on one of the students' names, you'll see here, it says student has not been scored. For TELPAS testing, guys, you are going to click score on your end. Students are not going to click upload work. Okay, let me pause real quick. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the student perspective as far as what window they're going to see to type in their assessment and what the upload work button looks like. Give me 1 second.